Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
So well on this February day. It's beautiful outside, and it really makes me want to fast forward a couple of months and jump right into summer. I'm always really torn. If it's the summer, I'll be really looking forward to fall, like I'll be looking forward to the pumpkin spice lattes and the beautiful dark colors and the colder weather. But then whenever I get into fall and winter, it's like I just want to be in the summer. I just want to be in the water, going on vacations, soaking up the vitamin D. And I think that's, the eternal struggle with both of the seasons. Every season has its own kind of vibe. And when we're deep into winter, as we are right now, it's like, oh, I just want it to be summer. But then whenever it gets to like July or August, I'm going to be thinking, oh my gosh, I want it to be fall. Like, I can't wait for Halloween. I am broadcasting to you guys live from Dallas, Texas. How's everybody doing? I feel like we haven't had much news lately. Everybody is talking about the Super Bowl and, of course, the impeachment trial. So there's not a lot of, pop culture, social media news per se. But we have a little bit of housekeeping, keeping up with some things on Twitter. The hashtags always mystify me. The ampersand is trending on Twitter for some reason. And I guess this is because if you do the ampersand, like if you look at it in your head or you do it with your fingers, in some versions, depending on how you look at it, it's like an E and a T overlapping. And that's called a ligature. And a ligature is basically like a symbol that also spells out something, or like two letters that are kind of molded into a symbol. And so the ampersand is actually a ligature, an overlapping E and a T. And that's what the ampersand stands for, because in Latin and French, et, the word is a preposition. It's the word and people are, like, their minds are blown that ampersand is actually a word put into a symbol. And that's, taking over Twitter today. I took about 5 years, well, not 5 years, 5 semesters of French in high school. And so I'm pretty familiar with the French language, conjugations, and spellings. I was never really great at speaking it. I really lack, oral skills, like repeating things and conjugating in my brain is not my strong suit. But I'm good at reading and writing. And I notice a lot of similarities between the French language and Latin and the Spanish language and Latin. Latin is kind of like the root language, which is super cool, I guess, if you're into that. They had Latin at my high school. I should have taken Latin, but French and, I feel like teenage girls, they all go through that, like, Paris phase where we're all obsessed with Paris and stuff. And I actually went to Paris, and it was pretty cool. It wasn't my favorite place we went to. We took a trip. I went with my best friend on our school trip right before my senior year. And we went to Paris, France, and we visited, like, all around Europe. we went to Paris and Rocamadour, Nice, France, and we even went to, I think it was not Morocco, Grace Kelly, where she was. Monaco, not Morocco. I think my favorite place was Rocamadour. It is very different, Europe. It's very variable, like it's versatile. You can go and be in Paris, and then a couple of hours later, you're in like the French countryside, and that was my favorite. Rocamadour. If you've never been, look up pictures, or if you have no idea what Rocamadour even is, look up pictures. It's gorgeous. It's just like the place we went. We stayed in a little inn, and it was this beautiful French countryside, and our little inn was up on a hill, like built into the hill, looking over just so much greenery. It was like a little village, like a little, like, looked like a Dutch village, but it was French, obviously. And the houses were like built into the side of these rocks, and it was pretty. The people were sweet. The roads were, interesting. Like the houses, you looked over and you could see just the village and the people, and there were hobbit houses everywhere. It was super cute. I'm super fortunate, to have parents that allowed me, and a life that allowed me to travel whenever I was younger. It kind of instilled in me a travel bug. I'm a huge fan of getting out there and seeing the world. So, if you like travel, we have a podcast for that, the GSMC Travel Podcast, which is one of my favorites to listen to, actually. Maybe I can make a guest spot on there one day. Also trending on Twitter, a little girl wrote a song about dinosaurs. It's called The Dinosaur Song. Her dad is a composer, like, plays instruments and stuff. And she wrote her first song, I think she was like 3 or 4. And she wrote it about dinosaurs. She wrote her own lyrics, and her dad came up with like a tune for her. And her song, it went like, she talks about how two dinosaurs meet, and then they fall in love, and they eat cucumbers and fruit and stuff. And eventually the song goes on, and they're having a party, dinosaurs have a party, dinosaurs say thank you, and then she says, then the asteroid came, and the dinosaurs fell in love, but they didn't get to say goodbye. So basically these dinosaurs, she wrote a really cryptic romance tragedy about how these dinosaurs fell in love, and then both got killed by the asteroid. And all over Twitter, people are saying, I didn't expect it to be this deep, but this 4-year-old just wrote like a hit song about dinosaurs meeting and then dying tragically without getting to say goodbye to each other. And it's really affecting, it's like hitting people pretty deep. And I think that's just so cute. I want them to make a music video. The song is called Dinosaurs in Love, and the writer her name is Fen. She's 4 years old, and her dad is named Tom Rosenthal. He's a pretty famous singer in the UK and Europe. And I guess he passed on his love to his daughter, and now there's a music video. So go check out Tom Rosenthal and his 4-year-old daughter, Fen, who just released her first song called Dinosaurs in Love. Fen 2020, and it's going to be sweeping the charts. I can already tell. It's on Spotify now, too. It's called Dinosaurs in Love by Fen Rosenthal. She's going to top the charts. It's so cute. I'm jealous. I wish somebody would have written songs for me when I was this young. It's already got 59,000 plays. Released February 1st, 2020. Go support this girl. This is so precious. The news that I want to hear. This is what I want to top the charts. Alright, when we come back, Chicago Med has released their 100th episode. Chicago Med is the drama TV series about the hospitals in the hospital in Chicago, and kind of like a Grey's Anatomy for Chicago. And Chicago, the network also has Chicago PD and Chicago Rescue and stuff. It's not a live series. It's televised, kind of like a dramatic ER. But for their 100th episode, they celebrated by doing something really weird. So we're going to get into that when we come back. And also, Birds of Prey has a soundtrack dropping, the new Harley Quinn DC love child. And so many awesome artists are going to be on this CD. I am so excited. So we're going to get all into that when we come back. Let's chill together. Get yourself a snack. Right now I have a Monster. I'm caffeine intolerant, so I don't recommend that, but I was feeling on the edge today. Get yourself a snack. Chill. If you got to do housework, turn me up to 11, and we're just going to talk today. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll be right back with the GSMC Social Media News Podcast.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Grey's Anatomy at an ungodly age. I swear. I remember those big iPods that you could have that were, like, super chunky. Like, not the skinny nanos, but, like, the ones you could have TV shows on. Back when iPods were still a thing. Not iPads, not iPhones, like, just the iPod. And they were super sleek, and there was one that was super tall and thin, and there was one that was a little bit more, like, thick, like, with a wider screen. My mom had that one, and she loved Grey's Anatomy. So she would, like, load it with all the episodes of Season 1 and Season 2 and Season 3, because that's all that was out back then. This was, like, 2007. And I remember on a road trip one year, the way I found out about Grey's Anatomy, I was like 11 or 12. I sat there and I watched those episodes on the way to wherever we were going. I think it was a family reunion or something. And I absolutely fell in love with Grey's Anatomy. And I watched, wherever we were going, I watched so many episodes that I got to Izzy and Denny's, like, thing. Like, I watched it until Denny passed away. And my 11-year-old mind was blown. And I was obsessed with Grey's Anatomy for years after, until they killed off, I think, George, and then I didn't really watch it anymore. And I never really got into, like, hospital shows after that. I wasn't alive around the time ER was popular, but my interests kind of switched from the medical shows to more like live PD. I love live PD. You wouldn't find me watching a medical show anymore. I'm not really into that kind of televised drama. I'm more into reality today, but my point being, I don't watch medical shows, but apparently there are tons of them out there now. Chicago Med is one of them, and so Chicago Med is like a TV drama that follows the doctors in Chicago at a certain hospital in Chicago. I don't know specifics. I just saw this on Twitter. And it's not like live, it's not reality, it's like a Grey's Anatomy type. And they just celebrated their 100th episode. And so to celebrate the episode, they got this huge cake for the cast. And this cake, like, there's a video of it on Twitter of the people walking in, and there's a guy laying in a hospital bed. He looks dead. He has a gown on, and he's hooked up to all these wires, and somebody goes over and sticks a knife in his arm. and start sawing his arm off. It's a cake. Like, the dude is a cake, and the cake looks so realistic that I thought there is a man, like, lying in the bed. But no, to celebrate their 100th episode, they made, like, a huge life-size cake of, like, a dead person. And so, like, it looks real. Like, it's pretty crazy. If you look up Chicago Med on Twitter's hashtag generator, whatever, you can see this cake, and it's insane. But it made me want to bite it. Like, I love cake, obviously. I love that kind of stuff. Like, the super realistic. I'm into, edible art, and this cake is just wild. He looks just like a person, and whenever they were cutting into him, I hope there was red icing. That would make it. Like, I would so eat that cake. So Birds of Prey is coming out. It's not out yet. Coming out next week, the second week of February, the 7th, I think. Let me check that. Yes, I was correct. It's February 7th, 2020. So 5 more days, Birds of Prey comes out. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. She's broken up with the Joker, and it's the next installment in the DC series in, like, the Harley Quinn universe. And it's this BA. BA is my censored version of Bad A. Version of, like, her version of events and stuff. And this really awesome kick-butt story of Harley Quinn and what happens in the fallout after she and the Joker kind of break up and pass, and whatever you want to think. There's so many different versions of it. After he goes away, and it's just this, like, super female-driven plot, and I'm super excited to see it because I love Margot Robbie. And the music for this movie is incredible. They're dropping a CD, like a whole album, and it's all women. It's and they just came out with a track for Birds of Prey, and it's Doja Cat, Meg Thee Stallion, Normani, and it's called Sway With Me. So Saweetie's also on it. That's a person, Saweetie. It's not Sweetie, it's Saweetie, Saweetie, and it samples the hit song Sway by Dean Martin, and it's like a great workout track. They just dropped that for the movie Birds of Prey and the music video. And the track is going to be featured in the film, obviously. But that was the first track that they dropped from the album. And this album is going to be killer. They have Normani, Doja Cat, Meg Thee Stallion, Saweetie, Charlotte Lawrence, Macy Peters, Halsey, K-Flay, and Sophie Tucker, who are all females, all feminists, all bad ass singers and, like, performers. I'm so excited for this album, and I'm excited for the movie. When the Suicide Squad album came out and the movie came out, that was on repeat for me at the gym for months. I loved the Suicide Squad album, and I loved working out to all of the tracks from the movie. And it's awesome because whenever Suicide Squad came out, my favorite parts were Harley Quinn's parts. Like, Margot Robbie really made that movie. The costume, the makeup, her acting, all of it. Jared Leto, good in his own right, but, like, Harley Quinn, for the girls and the females, even though her character wasn't much of a role model per se, given that she was, psychologically abused, in this movie, we get, like, turn the volume up five times that, and it's going to be just the super awesome female-driven plot. So much more content for girls to, look up to. Hopefully they do kind of a redemption plot, because I know with Harley Quinn in the first movie, it was girls were idolizing her for doing all of these terrible things and being manipulated by this guy. And now that she's kind of dumped the Joker, hopefully it's this kind of, redemption plot where it's like, I hope girls look up to her for being able to pick herself up and keep going on after, being in an abusive psychological psychologically manipulative relationship and finding herself again. I hope that's what girls idolize her for. And I hope, if young girls are watching this, and watch Suicide Squad, they get, oh no, I don't want a relationship like Joker and Harley Quinn. Like, he abused her. And I hope that that's a big takeaway. I hope she's more idolized in this movie for standing up for herself and, taking control, getting her life back, than, being idolized, her and Joker, for being idolized as a couple in their last movie. So I'm hoping we see a lot of, feminist-driven, inspiring content from Birds of Prey. I'm sure we will. I haven't been to the movies in, I feel like, months even. But this is one I would definitely go to the movies for. So I'm super excited about that. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Super Bowl halftime show. I grew up as a football daughter, even though I totally never got into football. My dad was football and games, and I was tutus and ballet. But I'll talk a little bit about that, what we can expect from the halftime show. J-Lo and Shakira are going to completely tear down the house. And E! released the top 15 halftime shows so far. So we'll get into that and just like what to expect from a person who really doesn't watch football. I'm sure some of you can relate with me. I feel like I'm the minority in America. But I was raised a football daughter. I just never quite got into it. I represent some people. Not everybody's into football, and that's okay. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and later on we'll talk a little bit about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's abuse case, divorce trial. A lot is coming out with that. Johnny Depp, people everywhere are saying, like this audio has come out with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. And Amber Heard was previously accusing him of, abuse and stuff. And now this audio has come out, and it's just like, I think Johnny Depp his fans always stood with him, but now, especially more than ever, this audio is lending itself to Amber Heard kind of looking bad. Like, it doesn't look really good for her, and Johnny Depp's fans always kind of stood behind him, and as well as his ex, Vanessa Paredes, and his daughter. They always said, he's no abuser. She's blackmailing him. And so their trial, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's trial, has recently been in the news. So we'll get a little bit into that when we come back. Stay here with us on the GSMC Social Media News Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Daughter, and I never really got into football. I feel like I failed my father for that, but I am who I am, and no amount of sitting me in front of a TV will change that. Although, you never really know. It's my choice, and ultimately not up to anybody else what my interests are, and that goes for anybody. You can't force somebody to be interested in a specific topic. If I have a daughter or a son, I can't force them to be into classical music. Their interests are, you can't really, they choose their interests. And at a certain level, it's sort of unconscious. You're drawn to what you are drawn to for a reason. And I was never really drawn to football. And although I can apologize for that, nothing is really going to change unless one day I just sit down in front of the TV, in front of a football game, and something miraculous happens. That could be today. Probably not. I have plans with my father later to go watch the Super Bowl, and for me, it's more watching the commercials, socializing with family, and watching the halftime show. But I grew up a football daughter, and what I mean by this is my father, a football fanatic, has his own company where he has a football ratings company, and I'm not going to give out the name of the company because that would be disclosing private information that could put my family and I in danger. But he's been doing this since before I was born, and his dad did it, and he does football ratings, and he's pretty well known in the football community, the football circle, in Texas. And he was pretty disappointed when he found out I was a girl. And that's not, I'm not trying to rag on him or make him out to be a jerk, but football is very important to him. And he wanted to have a son that could take the company and run with it and take it over after he died. And first of all, I'm terrible at math because this company has to deal a lot with statistics, and that's just not something I'm great at. And also, it would have to be a lot of travel and paying attention to the game and stuff, and that's just never what I was into. He had me, although he loves me dearly, I'm a girl, and which is not to say girls can't be into football. I'm just not. I was more into ballet and dance and music and art. So I probably will not be taking over the family business. But I'm here to watch the halftime show and to watch the commercials and stuff. And I try to understand it, even though I know what I'm there for. So seeing that J-Lo and Shakira, two of my biggest idols whenever I was a child. Like, I was born in the 90s, so right around the time J-Lo's, music career was really taking off. And Shakira was early 2000s. So that time period is perfect for this. And so the halftime show I'm super excited for because it's going to be not only Latinx pride, Latinx power, but because I actually know who these people are. E! News just released a top 15 halftime show list, and number 3 was Lady Gaga, which was back in 2017. 2 was Michael Jackson back in 1993, and then the best halftime show ever was Prince in 2007. I'm hoping Lady Gaga stays on this list because 2 out of the 3 of those top out of 15 have passed. It seems like the really, really great artists are always really troubled. So I'm crossing my fingers for Lady Gaga, but I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. And I feel like the reason why I haven't gotten into football is because the average American football game contains 18 minutes of gameplay. The rest of it is spent in timeouts or on commercials or, it's not a lot for me. I need something to keep my attention. I come from a long line of attention issues, and I'm going to need constant action and stuff. So, and all of the screaming at the TV that I've witnessed from my family over the last 23 years of my life has startled and traumatized me. So I try and stay, in my own little bubble. But Super Bowl calories don't count. I'll be there to support and eat the food, watch the commercials, and shake it to the music. So, Super Bowl, for all of you guys who are excited for that, the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs on tonight, and I'll be back with more Super Bowl review, commercials, halftime show critiques on Wednesday. So, everybody have a great Super Bowl Sunday, and remember, calories don't count. Alright, when we come back, Vanessa Bryant has posted the first thing that she's posted since before Kobe died. So we're going to get a little bit into that, what we know now, it being a little bit after the crash. There are still, memorials in LA, like alive and active, people contributing to them every day. And Vanessa Bryant has now made her Instagram account public, and she's given a public response to her husband and daughter's passing. So we'll get into that, as well as a couple of things that we now know about the crash a week or so after the fact. Stay right here with us on the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. We're going, baby!
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
The nation is still mourning. The memorial is still very alive and busy in Los Angeles, and people are contributing to it every day. And just kind of looking at this family, what a gorgeous family. There was a video somebody posted on Instagram of Kobe meeting Vanessa the first time via interview. And oh my gosh, she is gorgeous. She is absolutely gorgeous, and she always has been. And this is just a little side note. How could he cheat on her? Ever. How could anyone cheat on this woman? She is absolutely beautiful. But people make mistakes. And that's, it's not my intention to bash Kobe. The intention was, Vanessa Bryant posted on her Instagram 4 days ago, first thing that she posted since Kobe's passing, and she wrote, "My girls and I want to thank the millions of people who've shown support and love during this horrific time. Thank you for all the prayers. We definitely need them. We are completely devastated by the sudden loss of my adoring husband Kobe, the amazing father of our children, and my beautiful, sweet Gianna, a loving, thoughtful, and wonderful daughter, and amazing sister to Natalia, Bianca, and Capri. We are also devastated for the families who lost their loved ones on Sunday, and we share in their grief intimately." For a second, I'm going to take a pause. I feel like the pressure for her is so immense right now. Not only did she lose her husband and her daughter, but she has to be politically correct in the worst time somebody can go through in their lives. When all you want to do is focus on how much you miss your daughter and your husband, you have to be politically correct. Speak out about the other families in the crash. You can't say anything negative. You have to be really careful about what you're saying. Like, she must be in such pain, and all of the pressure that is being put on her right now is a lot. She says, "There aren't enough words to describe our pain right now. I take comfort in knowing that Kobe and Gigi both knew that they were so deeply loved. We were so incredibly blessed to have them in our lives. I wish they were here with us forever. They were our beautiful blessings taken from us too soon. I'm not sure what our lives hold beyond today, and it's impossible to imagine life without them. But we wake up each day trying to keep pushing because Kobe and our baby girl Gigi are shining on us to light the way. Our love for them is endless, and that's to say immeasurable. I just wish I could hug them, kiss them, and bless them, have them with us here forever. Thank you for sharing your joy, your grief, and your support with us. We ask that you grant us this respect and privacy we need to navigate this new reality. To honor our Team Mamba family, the Mamba Sports Foundation has set up the Mamba on 3 Fund to help support the other families affected by this tragedy. To donate, please go to mambaon3.org. To further Kobe and Gianna's legacy in youth sports, please visit mambasportsfoundation.org. Thank you so much for lifting us up in your prayers and for loving Kobe, Gigi, Natalia, Bianca, Capri, and me. #Mamba. So as we reflect about exactly a week after this, it seems like it's just a reminder that life is so short, because although it's only been a week, the focus is now shifted to the Super Bowl. And even though Kobe was such a legendary figure, people are already, tomorrow everyone's going to be talking about the Super Bowl, and life goes on so quickly. It seems like we should just stay in a moment forever and grieve someone for the rest of our lives, but it just doesn't work like that, and especially with social media. If I were famous and tragically lost my husband and one of my daughters, I would want people to, keep them in their minds. I wouldn't want people to forget, but being in the public eye, the public's going to constantly move on to something bigger, and that must be really hard, feeling like after such a tragedy, people can just move on so quickly. But I'm sure tonight there will be a memorial or some kind of, nod to Kobe and the Bryants during the Super Bowl, which is comforting to know, because sports is a very unified community, the sports community. There's not much really that has been figured out as far as the helicopter and everything. A cause for the crash has still not been determined, but the fog is a big contributor in why investigators think the crash happened. It's estimated that the pilot missed a foothill where the helicopter crashed by 20 or 30 feet, and that's what led to the crash. There's a video that was released on the internet talking about the pilot and how he had like 8,200 hours in training. But the helicopter didn't have a terrain level warning or something to let him know he was too close, like a sensor or something was missing. But investigators also say, that wouldn't have helped in this specific time. He was just too close to the ground. There was no recovering to be done. The time lapse throughout the day, whenever they first left from Orange County, flying over to Calabasas, it was pretty clear. And then throughout the flight, the fog kind of, the fog came out of nowhere because they were flying towards the Pacific Ocean. And as they got closer to the ocean, the mist from the water coming off the ocean and going over the cliffs created a fog layer that was so heavy that it obscured the vision of the pilot pretty quickly. And the fog is a huge contributor in why things went so wrong so quickly. More investigation is being done, and I'm sure will continue to be done. But I think something huge that people, like the investigators, realize is it was just a freak accident. The pilot even flew the route a day before. It wasn't intentionally done. It just kind of happened. All right, when we come back, we're going to be discussing Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, the assault, divorce, and defamation trial. Very messy, mostly for her. New things are coming out, and Johnny Depp's fans are furious, as they should be, because the recording for this is so hard to listen to and so disturbing. So stay right here with us on the GSMC Social Media News Podcast. We're going to get into that and a whole bunch more when we come back.
always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. Jordan and Keith is Entertainment Tonight meets Access Hollywood.
I'm Jordan. The guy laughing, that's Keith.
Yeah, I'm Keith.
An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Justice for Johnny Depp is now trending on Twitter, Instagram, and all major media outlets. There was an audio clip that was released yesterday or the day before that shows Amber Heard admitting to hitting Johnny Depp several times over a therapy session recorded on Amber by her personal cell phone, and I sat down and listened to the audio, which is now public. And for a little catch up, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp met back in 2012 on the set for The Rum Diaries, which they were both a part of, a movie, and they got married in 2015 and filed for separation in 2016 because of domestic abuse. And whenever the case first came out, Amber, who is a female rights activist and domestic abuse activist, came out saying Johnny Depp had abused her. And Johnny Depp countered with, no, I'm the one being abused. And because of this whole scandal, he lost the franchise Pirates of the Caribbean. He lost that. He lost movies, deals, financial loss, and now he's in the process. He's been suing her for defamation, and I think the trial is in a couple of days, which is why this is now trending on Twitter. But audio was just released by somebody, one of Johnny's either lawyers or people, that has he and Amber Heard in a therapy session, or it's supposed to be private, but it's released. It's either them talking together or them in a therapy session, and Amber Heard and he are talking to each other about, hitting each other, and you can hear in the audio Johnny Depp saying, Amber's mad at him for some fight that he left the house over, and she says, you left, and he said, well, I didn't want to get in any physical altercations. I didn't want, this is a crime scene. Our relationship is a crime scene. We're going to go too far. We might kill each other. And she says, yes, I hit you. She admits to hitting him, with pots and pans. But she says, I did not punch you. You weren't punched. And in my head, I'm like, girl, it doesn't matter if you were punched. What are the mechanics of a closed fist versus an open hand? You still hit him. And the fact that she said, yeah, I hit you, but you weren't punched. Don't be a baby. All of that is just girl, you're not sounding too good for yourself. Abuse is abuse. And I think this is why so many people are up in arms over this case, is because people, for some reason, still don't think that men can be abused or raped. And this is a huge platform for the fact that that is just not true. And for her to be trying, for all this to come out and her having, the world basically having proof that she lied and blackmailed him is huge. And for her to claim that she's a social rights activist and supports women's rights and being a domestic abuse, activist is just kind of sickening. In the audio, it is also discovered that Johnny did push her. It doesn't look good for either of them because they both individually admit to engaging in physical altercation. But I don't think that it should be lost on people that men do suffer physical abuse, manipulation, and assault. Also, in pictures released by Johnny Depp, you can see he released pictures of his face and his body, and he has bruises on his face. His finger was severed, apparently, from Amber Heard throwing a glass bottle, and the bottle, like, exploded on the counter, and the shard, like, took his, like, one of his fingers, like, the top clean off. It just does not look good for her, and I hope for his sake that he gets the justice that he deserves through this trial and is able to clear his name. This August 2020, is when Johnny Depp's $50 million defamation case against Amber Heard is set to finally begin proceedings, and it's going to take about 3 weeks. But it's certainly shaping up to be interesting because James Franco has been roped into the legality of it. Johnny Depp has requested James Franco be questioned, and James Franco is requesting a sealed deposition. There was a security video released a while back where Johnny and Amber Heard and James Franco were in the same elevator, and so James Franco has requested that if any defamation against him results from the case, that Johnny be held liable, and basically his involvement in the case will be stating whether or not he saw bruises, heard anything in the elevator that night between them, because apparently he lived in the same place that they did. I'm sure we will hear more about that. I'm kind of torn on what to believe. I'm hoping that it's in Johnny Depp's favor, because he has lost so much in this. He was one of Hollywood's most prolific actors until his marriage to her, where he lost, his top-selling movie franchise. So if the things that we have been hearing are true, and Amber Heard has made all of this up, I hope it comes out to light so that he can get the justice he deserves, and that this situation can be used as a platform for the fact that men suffer abuse just as readily, as if not more damaging than women. And I hope that this doesn't turn into, Amber Heard fabricating this whole thing, because that doesn't make women look good, And I'm not a real big fan of Amber Heard. So, Johnny Depp, I hope you get the justice that you are seeking. I'm sure we will all be following this case very closely. Alright, when we come back, we're going to be talking about Stormy Webster's second birthday. So, Kylie Jenner has thrown yet again one of the biggest baby bashes for her little girl, Stormy Webster. She just turned 2, and in celebration, Kylie put together a whole theme park with 3 different, worlds. A Trolls world, a Frozen 2 world, and a Stormy world. She created this whole thing for her daughter for her birthday. And people all over Instagram and social media are so upset they didn't get an invitation. Especially me, because I freaking love Trolls. I stan Trolls. So we'll get more into that when we come back. Stay here with us on the GSMC Social Media News Podcast.
The GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Jenner and Travis Scott are celebrating their little one's birthday with another lavish birthday celebration. Happy birthday, Stormy Webster, straight from Instagram. Travis and Kylie celebrate Stormy's birthday with another Stormy World themed party. And I think it's safe to say that Stormy World might now be an annual tradition because this is now the second year that she's done a huge birthday bash. And the Stormy World was also a direct homage to Travis Scott's album Astro World. Last year, Kylie went all out for her daughter's birthday, and this year she turned it up a notch. On Saturday afternoon, yesterday, Kylie took to Instagram to share an inside look at Stormy World 2, where her 2-year-old daughter and her friends got the chance to explore 3 themed parks: Trolls World, Frozen World, and Stormy World. Oh my gosh, invite me. Trolls World, that's the only one that I would love to go to. And because Disneyland works hard, but Kylie works harder, Stormy's mom even had customized maps made so partygoers didn't get lost. And I don't even know what she rented out, or, how she pulled this off. I'm sure she got so many people to help her on it, but from what I saw, it was neon glowy themed. The Trolls World was super cute. There was a troll tree, and, down to the decorations, everything was there to a T, and they even had maps of Stormy World, which was super cool. Friday night, Kylie shared a picture on Instagram story of birthday presents, including a pink baby Jeep, which was super cute. All wrapped up and ready for Stormy when she woke up. Kylie revealed also her Stormy collection shortly before her daughter's birthday, and her Stormy collection was a part of her Kylie line, the cosmetics line that has launched and taken over the beauty industry. I've tried a couple of their products, and though I'm not a fan of the lip gloss, maybe I just got a busted one. I love the formula, but whenever you put it on, it dries my lips out, and it like kind of clumps and stuff. But I'm so impressed. I wanted so bad to love it because the lip liner and the lipstick, whenever I watched Life of Kylie, she said, I couldn't find a lipstick and a lip liner that looked natural for my lips because she was bullied and made fun of her lips all growing up throughout her childhood. And being a Kardashian, the Kardashians are known for like full lips. So she wanted to find, after having her procedure, a nice lip liner and lip gloss, and she just decided to make it herself. That's the story behind her Kylie line eventually. And watching her career just take off has been inspiring because I think she's the most successful Kardashian as far as, business. She's had the most amazing growth, and I think of all of the Kardashian Jenners, she's the most successful in her business. The least problematic of the Kardashians, I think, too. And I guess you can't even consider her Kardashian. She's a Jenner. She starred in Life of Kylie, independent from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. And I watched all of the seasons in the miniseries. Pretty interesting to see how down-to-earth Kylie Jenner actually is. I was pleasantly surprised, and watching also the Kardashians after the whole Jordan Woods saga, Kylie held herself and held her own very well. I also watch her YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel where she goes on with Stormy and her sisters, and mostly Chloe. There's a video of them getting ready after they are drunk, and it's super funny. They use the Kylie line. And it's fun to watch her be down to earth. Whenever she had Stormy 2 years ago, it was a huge deal because she was so young, and she's turned into a great mother. She's praised on her YouTube channel for being the most down to earth and supportive mother / Kardashian parent, as seen by Stormy's calm and mature manner. There's a video out there where they bake cookies together, and Stormy, the way they talk to each other, it just melts people's hearts because Stormy asks permission and Kylie talks to her like an actual person. And whenever she makes mistakes, Kylie doesn't yell at her. She talks to her really sweetly. And I think America's really surprised at how good of a mother she is. And that's really sweet. And the Stormy collection in Kylie Jenner's Kylie Jenner Cosmetics is beautiful. A bunch of like peaches and pinks, lip glosses, and I saw it yesterday and I told Tyler, hey, if you're looking for something to get me for Valentine's Day, it's beautiful. She launched it just before Stormy's birthday, and it's gorgeous. Like the eyeshadow reminds me a lot of like ColourPop. It's these pretty, really pigmented golds. The theme is like butterflies, like golden purple butterflies, and it's lots of purples and peaches, neutrals, and golds. They're just beautiful. And apparently Kylie collaborated with Stormy and used her as an inspiration for this, which is so cute. The only foray I've had into Kylie Jenner Cosmetics has been through the lip glosses, but I think I'm going to purchase this palette, this little Stormy palette, because it's so cute. Kris Jenner recently said of her daughter Kylie that this launch into cosmetics is what she wants to do for the rest of her life, that she talks about it all the time ever since the news of the Stormy palette dropped, and that she hopes to keep doing it in 20 years and hopefully pass it down to her daughter, which is so sweet. Apparently rumored after the Stormy drop, Kendall and Kylie are going to have a Kylie Cosmetics Kendall Jenner collaboration, which fans are super excited about. And it's set to launch around Valentine's Day. And Kendall Jenner says this is going to be big because I'm her blood, hello. So we're all excited for that. I'm going to be looking forward to that. But for now, I'm satisfied with what Jenner has put out as far as the Stormy palette. I think it's cute. What do you think? Do you think she's using Stormy for clout? I mean, this kid is her life. She said in one of her Instagram posts that she and Stormy were made for each other. And I think that is so sweet. Just imagine, getting pregnant at a young age and being so... I think young mothers and daughters have a really special bond because they kind of grow up together. And you can definitely see how having a kid, at least from the outside, has changed Kylie. And it seems like when Stormy was born, this is whenever all of this stuff really took off. It seems like she's investing in her future. She doesn't get involved in a scandal like the other sisters. And she's really building an independent brand for herself, which is super inspiring. Alright guys, that's all I have for you guys today. As always, thanks for tuning in with me, Devan, on the GSMC Social Media Podcast. If you like what you hear, go ahead and follow us on our Twitter at GSMC Social Media. Leave us a like, leave us some comments, leave us a review on Facebook, and let us know what you want to listen to. We love interacting with our fans. We love doing this for you guys. Podcasts are our thing, and we want to know what you want to listen to. Remember today, calories don't count. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday and stay safe. And we will be back with another episode of the GSMC Social Media Podcast for you on Wednesday. Everybody have a good day. See you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.